let's do my weekly hobby rant. But try to do these a little bit more. So let me paraphrase the podcast this week. That's kind of my easiest way to flow into this. What we talked about was the new Tidewall, if it's a hot or not model. We kind of decided that it is hot if you're talking about bringing hobby back. Like I've mentioned many times, bringing hobby back is about bringing hobby scores back to Warhammer 40k. If you bring hobby scores back to this game, then nobody's gonna bust out some stupid invisible Death Star shit. I'm not gonna hate on it too much. I literally invented Super Friends. That's my list. I started playing Super Friends way back in the day. It was born on my old podcast, and I brought it to what it was. I'm the first guy who took a White Scars command squad, shoved as many Space Wolf characters into it as I could, and went around the table and made armor saves. I did this back in 6th edition. Before new Space Wolf Codex, before new Marine Codex, before any of that stuff. And so I'm the first guy to tell you, like, yo, literally, Death Stars, they are only there because right now in the hobby, the only way to win at a tournament level is to win. There's nothing else. You are punished for not winning. You know, like, there's no reward for anything else. You literally need to crush your opponent a third of the time, and you need to, like, literally be invincible 2/3 of the time on objectives at the end of the game. So if there's nothing else, if there's no painting score that's weighted, if there's no player composition score whatsoever, no thematic scores, there's no hobby scores whatsoever, why would you ever get mad at somebody for playing to their maximum potential? A Death Star is redundancy in armor saves, just like a Tau gunline is redundancy in shooting. It's ridiculous to try to ban rules or create a ban list to fix these things when the simple solution is just bring hobby scores back. If you start rewarding for people for things other than complete decimation of their opponent, if you start rewarding them for playing with each other, not against each other, it will all work itself out. You don't have to come up with this ridiculous ban list, what to do in this situation, what to do in that situation. You wouldn't have to. It would all work itself out. But obviously you'd have to get the community on board. Now, I digress. So, invisible Death Stars and etc. wouldn't be a viable option in a bringing hobby back scene. You would literally get 0 on everything. So you'd win all your games and you max out 50% of your score, and then you get 0s the rest. You would get like 20th place. The Tidewall is a really cool unit for bringing hobby back tournament. We talk about currently though, in this competitive world, this non-hobby scores world, it sucks balls. It's the worst. It's literally almost 300 points of a Tau's army that is not shooting. Like if you're playing against a Death Star who doesn't really shoot anything, and you're telling me that you literally have 300 points in your army that is not shooting at me, yo, literally easy mode right there. That's not even a problem. You know what I'm saying? The Death Star is gonna come right across the table, shit all over you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that is more than enough reasons why we need to bring hobby scores back to Warhammer 40k. It is literally what made this game what it is today. The hobby. We literally spend 99.9% of our time hobbying, and way less than 1% of the time actually playing in tournaments. So we got to talking about the new Tau stuff, the new Tidewall, and also this new release structure from GW. If you take the old book, which is what they're doing, they're saying the old Tau Codex is the new Tau Codex. The new Tau Codex is the old Tau Codex. It's basically going to just have all the new units that are coming out, like the Ghost Kill and the Storm Surge and etc. etc. It's going to have those new units in it and all the supplements. It's going to have everything in one. So that is cool. That means GW can actually make a lot more money on literature without invalidating rules, because they obviously want to make literature. They make a lot of money on it, but they have a habit of completely invalidating and shitting on things that you've built. As one of the hosts of the show said, Juice, in 4th edition, he played all these nits. He had all the carnifexes, everything. They came out with the new book, literally invalidated thousands of hours with the hobby. That will never happen again. So this is a good thing, the new GW form of releasing. It makes me a little nervous because, you know, I mean, Chaos, I'm going to have to live with the same units, which I probably will, because if you really look at the core and Demon Kid book, Space Marines are exactly, Chaos Space Marines are exactly the same in that book. But what we might get is Chaos is my shit. We might get the Chaos themed Night Titans. We might get the Kaitan. Like, it might be in the book. That would literally be problem solved for Chaos. So I'm actually really excited about this new Codex release. Pricing and everything is kind of weird. It's something else we talked about. We talked about Flames of War's new game system called Team Yankee, based on novels from the 80s. My cast will crack down on that pretty hard. So if you haven't checked out the podcast yet, I would really recommend checking out the podcast. It's over on Libsyn. You can check out our Long War page there, download it on iTunes. Or if you don't do it that way, you can go over to the Long War YouTube channel. And I actually put the podcast up on the YouTube channel for all my YouTubers. It goes up on our podcast and hosting platform for all our podcasters. So that way it's somewhere for everybody. We also got to talking about hobby pipe dreams. We got to talking about X-Wing repaints and all of our fantasies for that. So overall, it was a pretty fun podcast, and the webcast was much the same, but with more joking and more swear words. But speaking of which, like, the webcast can only be found on the longwar.net 2 members. So that is no longer for free on YouTube. We've done, 30, 40 episodes for free on YouTube. Now that we've built the membership hall big enough, we feel comfortable rewarding the members, the Hall of Veterans, the Veterans of the Long War, with that exclusive. We also have bonus material to all the battle reports that you guys love. That is also going to be totally exclusive to the veterans. That is going to be all the post-game interviews, the wrap-ups, the tactics, and the banter. And we're actually turning that into a much more developed section, not just a quick 2 minutes talking. I guess 10 minutes of talking now. So every day we're coming up with new content, new value. Not to mention the promo codes. I know I got to keep talking about this. If you sign up at thelongwar.net, it's $5.99 a month. You get access to 3 sponsor promo codes right now. And that's 5% off, 6% off, and 10% off. If you spend, $50 a month on hobby on average, and you can use these 3 websites to get your discount codes in, like, it pretty much pays for your membership over at thelongwar.net. That is huge. I can't tell you how much we need the members. Like, literally almost 100% of the money that we're taking in over there is going to back into the server to strengthen everything. We have not literally taken a dollar out of this thing. We're building it up, and we're building it up, and we're just going to keep going because we believe in this hobby. Speaking of this hobby, the Kickstarter. Kickstarter is coming. Promise you. We're behind because the server did kind of crash last week, and we're still rebuilding it. So thank you to everybody who's being very patient with us. If you're a current member, you probably don't experience any problems. But if you're trying to sign up, you might experience some lag. Please bear with us. We're trying to activate these accounts as soon as we can. Thank you guys for all your patience. And anyway, thanks for checking out this rant. I'll talk to you guys next time.